This was my secret ingredient to success when I was thinking today about what's made the most difference in my life. This one is easily number one. And I realised it's a bit of a secret to dominating easily over the average man. Do you boys ever get those past stories pop up on Snapchat and they tell you what you were doing a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago? Well, I got one today on my Snapchat and I'll pop it up for you now. And it was exactly where I was last year, and this is around the exact time last year that I quit my 9-to-5 and decided to pursue my dream of moving to Thailand, creating a personal brand and living off online income. Seeing that Snapchat story today just brought a lot of feelings over me of just how far I've come in the past year, and to think it's just been 1 year is crazy. And it led me today to thinking I'm currently in sort of a bit of a celebration over creating the YouTube, creating my first course, having some success with that. I'm at a hotel at the moment in Thailand, a place I really like staying. The beds are amazing, super comfy here, the pool's really cool. And I was hanging out by the pool today and I was alone. And I was sitting there thinking, what is it that I changed this year that was different to every other year, that I didn't achieve this success or didn't make the moves in life that I wanted to? And I came up with some things that I did this year that I absolutely contribute my success to. And I want to share them with you guys, because I do believe if you're currently in a position where you're stuck in a 9-to-5, you feel like you were meant for more, and your life doesn't look the way you want it to, I believe you can completely change your life in 1 year. And this is exactly how I would recommend you do it. So without further ado, let's get into the video. This was my secret ingredient to success when I was thinking today about what's made the most difference in my life. This one is easily number one. And I realised it's a bit of a secret to dominating easily over the average man, and it's giving up alcohol. I know you probably think, yeah, everyone says this, you should give up alcohol, it's not good for you, whatever. And I want to explain to you my story about giving up alcohol and how alcohol was keeping me as a completely average male. I didn't really drink that much from the ages of 14 to 18 when most people get into drinking in the UK. I had a few binges here and there, a few parties I went to, but as a whole, I was never that into alcohol. From a young age, I was always very health and fitness conscious. I loved creating videos and I loved going to the gym. It was the two things I loved doing from a very, very young age. I then obviously discovered women, alcohol, clubbing at around the age of 18. And apart from the few times I got drunk before, when I was 18, I really started to go out and enjoy myself and party. And when you start to party, maybe you start to meet people that are doing some coke or a bit of MD or maybe some ket, and you start to do a bit of that, and you dabble and it's just the best fun ever, and it's this new freedom that you've never found before. And if I look at myself from 14 to 18, I'll pop up a picture now. This was me at 17, just turned 18, about to do my first boxing match, in absolutely impeccable shape for an 18-year-old. And when I started drinking, everything just became about the party and getting high or getting drunk and going out and having a good time. And I had a lot of fun in that period with friends, and I certainly don't regret it, going to university and having these binges. But I do feel like I got all that partying out of my system from a young age. And last year, in January, I'd just come off the back of a very busy Christmas of constant boozing every day, getting drunk, going to various different parties around Christmas, seeing family, and just felt like absolute dog shit. I destroyed my mental health. I was having constant anxiety attacks, and it got to a point where I couldn't leave the house around Christmas time without having a drink before I went out. And I just thought, I'm just a fucking shell of the man that I used to be, and I've forgotten about everything that I ever dreamed of doing. And I'd become incredibly average. And there's nothing wrong with that if it makes you happy, but it was very far from the dreams that I'd once had, which is why it was me doing a disservice to myself. And I was on the drive back from going to my girlfriend's parents' house and being with her, and we'd had a great time together over Christmas, but there'd been a lot of drinking and we had to take different cars there. So I was driving back alone, and it was about a 4-hour journey. And I was thinking to myself in the car about how I wanted to change my life, and that our relationship at the time was not really working out. It was nothing particularly wrong, but it just wasn't quite right, and that I just was completely unhappy with my current situation. and I was panicky, I was shaky, I was nervous, I couldn't really drive home properly, I kept getting frightened and pulling over, and it's because I was so hungover and so anxious. And I thought, well, fuck this, I can't do this anymore. I was at that point where I didn't want to touch another drop of alcohol. I'd done it to the max. I'd really fucking outdone it. There was nothing fun left in it anymore for me. So I pulled over the car and thought, how do you quit alcohol? And a book came up, The Easy Way to Control Alcohol. I couldn't read it whilst I was in the car, so I bought the audio book on the side of the road. And I started listening to it. And I kid you not, this audio book changed my life. It's The Easy Way to Control Alcohol. It's by Alan Carr. And throughout this audiobook, he discusses and reveals the truth about alcohol. And the easiest way to give up alcohol is not with the willpower method, which I'd used previously, to stop yourself from drinking, to stop yourself from having a good time. It is to change the way that you think about alcohol. And he goes through this in the book, reveals all the ugly truths, and really shines a light on what alcohol really is, which is a poison and a depressant that is doing absolutely nothing for you. And a lot of you will complain, you might get angry and say, well, no, alcohol gives me confidence, alcohol allows me to have a good time. And the problem is, alcohol doesn't actually do any of that. It numbs you so that you're happy having a good time when things are shit. That is basically what it does. It just numbs your emotions and then leaves you depressed the next day. So you're not actually gaining confidence, you're just being numbed to fear and anxiety. Listen to this audiobook on this 4-hour journey back, and it just changed my life, because after that, although I have drunk again since then, my mindset has changed towards alcohol, that I no longer associate it with having fun. And I realised that alcohol was putting me as a totally average man, because what alcohol does is it steals your motivation and your ambition, and it makes you settle for less. If you've ever woken up hungover on the weekend, you will know that there was pretty much nothing you could get done without a lot of effort. I mean, even cleaning the house or doing anything is pretty hard. You're just sort of a potato. You're just vegetabilized in bed and hang out for the weekend. Now, the problem is, if you're working a 9 to 5, the time where you get to excel to a new life is the weekend. The weekend needs to be used strategically. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in a life that you don't want to live. Now, all you're doing when you're drinking is medicating over a life that you don't like. Now that I live a life that I love, I drink very rarely, very, very rarely, maybe occasionally for a birthday, once a month maximum, and have about 5 drinks max. I'm not drinking to excess like I used to. It's literally once a month, and I normally don't even want to. And the reason why is because every day I wake up with something exciting to do, with a life that I look forward to waking up to. And I believe alcohol is literally only used to medicate yourself when you are living a life you don't want to live, because it's a huge distraction. It allows you to have fun with low value people. You can go to any shit pub in the world and you can sit there and half enjoy yourself, because you're just numbing your mind to the fact that you're bored. Giving up alcohol has given me, basically after I gave up alcohol was when things really started to change for me, because I looked at my life from a different perspective. I started getting times on the weekend where I was thinking, well, okay, I'm not able to drink. What should I do? I'll go to the gym. That's a good way to fill my time. And when you're at the gym and you have all this time on your hands and you're not hungover, you start to think, well, this isn't quite right. I don't like this. My job's shit. Now I can't hide or run away from my job. I realise I hate it. And the life that I'm living isn't that great. And I'm not actually that into my girlfriend anymore. And without drink, we're not getting on with each other. And it starts to pull back the curtain and give you the time and energy to think about how your life should really be. So giving up alcohol is incredibly, I want to say it's difficult, but for me it wasn't. It was incredibly easy after I saw the benefits. And the benefits are aware straight away. You instantly get your motivation back. You instantly look less puffy. It just changes the way your skin looks. You start to glow and elevate. And it changes the way your mind works, gives you your time back to think so that you can change your life. So my secret ingredient to success when reviewing the last year, without a doubt, was giving up alcohol. And I 100% recommend that you read The Easy Way to Control Alcohol by Alan Carr if you're having issues with drinking at the moment and you want to change your life, because that was my secret ingredient to success, and it still is. When I go out and have fun with my friends, I don't drink, and the next day I can outperform anyone who's had drinks, because I've got the ability to have a clear mind and a clear conscience. And I hope to pass that on to any one of you that is watching this. You will not regret giving up alcohol at all. You will love the way that it will change your life. So that's number one. Took a little while, that one. You need to get in shape. It makes life 10 times easier. With women, respect from other males. It is just a super easy and simple key to changing your life. If you have got everything else in the world, let's imagine you're already rich, you're living your dream life, you've got your dream woman, but you're fat and you're unhealthy and you can't walk up the stairs, your life's going to be nothing. So really nothing's worth doing without your health, and good health will make life 10 times easier for you. The first step is obviously to give up booze. Once you give up booze, you actually free up a lot of capital. I found once I gave up booze, I was freeing up maybe £300 to £400 a month that I was spending on alcohol. That money you then invest in a gym membership if you haven't already. If you've already got a gym, then you need to invest it in gym gear and stuff that makes you want to go and do the gym. If you need to get a personal trainer, get one. If you need to buy a training program, buy one. Because it's investing in yourself and giving yourself that extra motivation that gets you in the gym and gets you the results. So if you need to have the best gym gear, spend the money you saved from quitting alcohol and spend it on gym gear so that you can now be excited about going to the gym and wearing your new clothes. I would recommend finding a fitness influencer with a body that you really like, and then buying their program just to give you somewhere to start. If you want to join the Gorilla Tribe, if you want to check out my programs, the ones that I've used, I've got 4 programs that you get. You can go from complete beginner all the way up to expert, and they're available in the link below. You just join the course, you get access to the group. You can use code Gorilla5 for a discount on that. That will get you in the close friends and the WhatsApp clan as well. But what this will do for your mind and body, when you start to exercise, you realize that you had a lot of pent-up frustration, and a lot of the issues that you think about in your head, the negative, the dark cloud that comes into your mental side, is actually from not exercising. It's not from getting a natural endorphin rush. So once you start to exercise, you get a lot of clarity, mental clarity, and you start to build a self-confidence, as well as feeling stronger, fitter, faster, and looking better. You'll also notice more attention from the opposite sex, and it all starts to build up to this feeling of success, and it's helped me massively. To have a good physique makes you a talking point in a room. As soon as you walk in, guys will come up to you, "Whoa, bro, what are you doing to get arms like that?" Or "Your shoulders are so big," or girls will come up and squeeze your muscles. It's a cheat code, and anyone can have it. Getting in shape is not hard. It's simple. It's very simple, but it takes discipline. So follow a program, stick to it, get in shape, make your life 10 times easier. The thing that I started to do after quitting my 9 to 5 was start a personal brand. I listened to a podcast with Brad Lee and Colin Yerkeson, a young guy, young businessman, same age as me, who was talking about how he changed his life from a very similar story to mine, from drinking alcohol and partying regularly, working a sales job exactly the same as me, to how he changed and built a personal brand and made 7 figures and completely changed his life in a couple of years. And it was this podcast, it was a defining moment in my life. And I hope that this video can be the same defining moment for somebody else, to inspire you to make the change and really know that your life can be anything you want. And it really just takes one decision to change things. Because that podcast, I remember listening to it, driving in the car. I was coming back from, I think, one of my last days at my 9 to 5 sales job after I'd quit. And Colin talked about building his personal brand and how before he knew what to do, he just started posting daily on Instagram. And this is what I did. Now, you post daily on Instagram stories and it acts as a journal. And I realized a lot of my content was in the gym. That was my favorite content to make, really. When I was in the gym, I wanted to post pictures of myself and that sort of stuff. And that is literally how I figured out where I wanted my brand to go and what I wanted to talk about. Now, if you do the same thing and whatever you do, you find yourself out in nature a lot, talking about different types of trees and stuff, maybe your personal brand should be built up around trees. And it will bring out your interests that maybe you didn't realize were the passions that you have. It will show you what you spend most of your time doing. If you really don't know where to start, have a look at who inspires you when you watch people on the internet. Who inspires you to do certain things, and what's the message they're spreading, and replicate it and put your own spin on it. Your journey becomes your brand. This was so important. So when you're starting off at ground zero, it's so important you do daily stories and talk about yourself, because you will inspire people that you never realized you would inspire on that journey from 0 to 365 days when you change as a person. And it'll be those people that support your brand when you eventually have a product to sell. So the journey becomes the brand, people invest in you. That's why it's a personal brand. Start posting daily, get on social medias, get a good profile picture on there, start posting. We are in the age of social media, so it's a great tool to have, and your personal brand will help you generate income in the future, work online, and then you can travel around the world. This one just rockets you miles past the competition that are trying to do it on their own, because when you find a mentor, it is somebody who has done what you wanted to do and knows exactly how to do it. Now, if you decide you just want to go out there on your own, stab in the dark for years and years and try and figure it out your own way, you're more than welcome to do that. But if you want the fast track, if you actually want things to change in 1 year, I suggest you find somebody that's already done it and you reach out to them. Just make sure that it's a proper mentor, somebody who's actually got proof in the pudding, that has achieved the things that you want. It doesn't have to be someone that you pay for either. It could be someone that you admire at work. It could be your boss. You could literally go up to your boss at work and say, look, I love what you've built here. I'd love to shadow you and see how you actually run your business. Is there anything I can do to make that happen? Or you could go to any high-level person and say something like that, or offer them something in return. Or you can buy mentorship from people. I think that's a great investment. With the right mentor, they can literally propel you, give you 5 years worth of knowledge in a month. And you can implement that into your business, into your life, into your personal brand, and excel. And it was 3 mentors in particular that have excelled me at certain points. First one was Colin, telling me to get on the personal brand, explaining to me how to do that, telling me exactly how he changed his life. I started to implement everything Colin said to me. Number 2, through Colin's course, I met a guy called David Dynasty on Instagram. Go and check him out. My boy, but it was sort of like an older brother figure, and we figured we have these live calls on Colin's course every week, and we were just vibing, we were just laughing at the same stuff, and we got in the chat afterwards like, oh, David, do you want to jump on a call together? I think we seem similar. And me and this guy, through my year of transformation, I spent a lot of time on my own because I'd broken up with my girlfriend, and I'd speak to David on the phone late at night after the calls, and we'd talk about business, and he gave me a lot of ideas. But the number one takeaway I got from David was, he said to me, why don't you do online personal training? I was like, well, what's that? And he's like, well, it's when you train people online, you dummy. I was like, oh, thanks, David. And he was like, yeah, you just get qualified. You're obviously into your fitness. Like you've got quite a good personal brand. Why don't you take your fitness stuff online and help people do that? And I'd just never thought of it before. And some people, they put it in your head, and I followed through on everything David said, and here we are now. And that's sort of how I built my online income, was online personal training, now going into more of a course model with building a tribe. But it really, really changed things for me, having that mentor. And my third mentor is what leads me to speaking to you now on YouTube. And it's why it's so important that the 5 people you spend the most time with is who you become like. And you'll know that recently I met Hamza, and we just ended up becoming friends through no particular reason. Just the fact that I only decide to have friends that add to my life and are high value. And Hamza came along at a time, along with Sam and Bill, where they're all high value guys and we get on. So we ended up being friends. And before this, I'd always wanted to do a YouTube. Hamza obviously does YouTube. And Hamza just told me, Jack, I think you'd be great on YouTube. I think you've got a great way of talking to people, mate. I really want you to do a channel. And you know what I did? This is where you make the gains. As soon as Hamza told me that, it was the push I needed to go and make YouTube. And you don't think about it, you just do. So I went and released my first video that night. That then showed Hamza I was serious, and he invested time in telling me how to produce my YouTube videos, invested time in helping me. And it's that action when your mentor tells you what to do, that you just have to have blind faith. And Hamza said to me, it's one of the things he likes most about me. If I hear something from someone who's obviously achieved more than me, I'll do it like that. I'm just waiting to know what to do, and then I'll go with it. So a mentor can help you massively. That's how 3 mentors helped me get to where I am now. A tribe pulls you up. A tribe keeps each other accountable, and there's protection in numbers. And the reason this is so important is because if your boys can all help each other cross-promote, you can go on each other's channels, you can look out for each other, you can bring each other up when you're down, you can have accountability partners. A tribe is a really, really powerful thing. You're not going to make it out there as a lone wolf. I've been a lone wolf before. It's important to have that period in your life, but in the end, you want to be in a tribe, just a tribe of people that are elevating and on the same trajectory as you. If you don't end up in a tribe, you'll get eaten alive out on your own. There's just more strength in numbers. If you want to join our tribe, use code Gorilla5 at checkout. Just click the link below. You can join the Gorilla tribe. we're all about sort of business, health, fitness, testosterone, just domination and all those things, and looking out for each other. So go check it out. Gorilla 5 gets you money off, gets you into the WhatsApp group, and gets you on my close friends list. And the next thing you want to do is cut out negative relationships. If you're in a relationship you don't like with your girlfriend, if you've got friends that keep pulling you down, you need to separate yourself. It's better to be alone than be with them, and find another tribe. The internet is your friend. You can find people on the internet that you would never meet in real life. The problem with being a high value man is that you're 1 in 1,000. If you're in your town, it's very hard to find another 1 in 1,000 guy. So you can find areas where they all hang out, like on the internet in certain groups, and you can meet them in there. So the internet is certainly your friend when finding high value guys to help you on your mission. Because you've got to know where you want to end up. You need to know what life looks like when it's changed. You've got to have direction. You need a map. You need to create space to think. So the problem with me was when I was drinking, using drugs, I was very numb and unaware of how unhappy I was with my life. Now, when you cut all that away, you start to feel very uncomfortable. But you still don't really have enough space to think. If you've got 9 to 5 and you start going to the gym, you're kind of so busy that you don't have time to think about what you want. So take a day off work from your 9 to 5. Do not schedule anything. Don't meet anyone. This is a day for thinking. Go outdoors, walk, no technology, and just think. Think about your life. We do not leave enough time to think about things, to allow ourselves to have new ideas. You need to create space. Once you've created that space, I want you to sit down with the Notion template that I've created and go through the video I created on how to build your dream life. I'll put the link underneath this video. So when the time comes, click that video, boys, and go through that exact thing, how to build your dream life and your goals. I've done a whole video of it. It's incredibly important. You then review that daily. You need to also scare yourself. If you feel like you're not going to follow through with the things you write down how your life will look in 10 years if you continue on the path that you are currently on. Make every day goal orientated. So each night before I go to bed, I write out my schedule for the next day of exactly what I'm going to do. And this you need to do every single day. There should not be a day without a schedule. You need a schedule for the day so you can get things done that are constantly on track with the mission you want to complete. Set 3 key goals for the next day. These are completed tasks. These are not brush your teeth, put your shoes on. These are not on there. These are the 3 things that are going to provide the biggest gains to your life. Give it all a time frame throughout the day. I also do daily habits, gratitude journal. You need to remember what you're grateful for. It just makes you a happier person, just makes life better. Meditate for 10 minutes. You'd be surprised at how this changes your mindset, really allows you that little bit of time to relax and to just become more present with your body, to not get so wrapped up in the past and the future, to have some time in the present. I do 1 piece of content and I make sure I exercise. They're my daily habits and they have led me to greatness. Finally, you must read. The reason why you need to read is because when somebody writes a book, let's say they're 75 years old and they've lived a whole lifetime and they've become very successful, they can give you the wisdom that they've acquired through 75 years of living in a book that costs £7, roughly, £5, £6, £7 usual book cost. That person might be so rich that you could never sit in a room with them, but you can get everything they know for £7. Now that is a ridiculous return on investment. You could acquire the knowledge of the greatest minds in the world just by reading, without having to meet anyone, and that's available to any person on the planet. These are the most influential books that I've read and that really affected me over the last year and have helped me change my life. So first one's 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. This will change the way that you view work, the way that you view work and reward, time and money. This book is fantastic. Gives you practical steps to creating online income. Was one of the reasons I moved to Thailand. Rich Dad Poor Dad just changes the way you think about money. It's an absolutely essential book to read. You shouldn't be thinking about money the old way. Read Rich Dad Poor Dad, change your life forever. How to Win Friends and Influence People. You're not going to get far if you can't talk to people properly, and this will change the way you think about interactions with people. It gives you practical tips. An absolute stunner of a book. You should read it every year. Hard Times Create Strong Men. Change the way you think about challenge. Challenge is a great thing, not a bad thing. Embrace it. And Awaken the Giant Within. This one really helped me change my mental state, helped me stabilize my mind to allow me to follow the rules to success, the things that I followed this year. Reading that book allowed me to become a lot more stable and increase my mental health, and it's an absolutely brilliant book for just changing your mindset and the way you feel about life. But God, that has been a long one. I really wanted to provide value for you boys on that. I'm just super grateful for where I am right now in my life, and I hope that in a year's time, if you watch this video, you will be in the same position of just absolute gratitude for how far you've come, and be really impressed just with what you've done in a year. And I just wanted to give that back to you boys. So I hope and pray for every one of you, and I know that you can achieve things. If you need to talk about anything, reach out to me on Instagram. I'll answer as many questions as I can. Join the tribe if you want personal access to the WhatsApp, to come in a group of like-minded guys. We'll help you elevate and get to the top. But that is all for today, folks. I'll see you on the next one. Wha-pow! 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 Wha-pow!